Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Knights of Eveningstar, brand new D&D show here on Wizards D&D. I almost said the other show that I do. Welcome. I am your Dungeon Master, Mark SherlockHulmes, and joining me, my very wonderful, very talented, very, very good-looking co-stars and cast. We have Mica Burton, we have Nate Sharp, we have Anna Prosser, and ShadyPenguinn. I don't know why I said that in a really dramatic TV presenter way, but it just came out.
Why was ShadyPenguinn like ShadyPenguinn?
I don't know. I was doing it and it just happened that way, dude.
I feel called out.
It's like, and here he is, ShadyPenguinn.
I'm jealous. You got the big announcement.
You can have that.
I felt like I was supposed to waddle on stage though, like an actual penguin, like
mascot.
Yeah. Can we get you a penguin costume?
Oh, not again.
That's for the first Knights of Eveningstar live show. We'll have him in a big sort of like inflatable penguin suit that you can waddle out to.
God.
Not okay.
Welcome everybody. How are you, my good friends? Are you well? Are you ready for some Dungeons and/or Dragons this week?
I can't help but notice that Nate violated all of our unspoken pact not to get haircuts during quarantine, and he looks way too dapper.
Nate got a haircut? Oh, he did get a haircut. He had long hair before.
Yeah.
He was hiding it in a hat last week.
Nate
First of all,
wants to battle.
That's my father's name.
Please call me wants to battle.
Second of all, I have no witty response for that. So let's play some D&D.
Yeah,
okay.
Sure. I have to admit, I am getting my haircut next week, so I am also breaking the pact. So
we had an unspoken pact.
I know. I'm sorry.
Unbelievable.
I was not familiar with this. Listen, let's get into some stuff. Just before we play, I did want to quickly mention we've got a bit of a Mica simulacrum situation going on because Mica is also live on Critical Role right now.
I'm watching myself right now, and my hair is done on Critical Role, and my hair is not done here, and I'm like, who's that
Which
bitch?
one's the real one? Who's the real Mica?
With the well done hair. It's all curled nicely.
Clearly that's the simulacrum.
Yeah.
But I wanted to say, because they are broadcasting an episode of Crit Hug right now, which is featuring Black creators, which is happening at the same time as this. So I kindly ask, if you're watching us live, once you finish the episode today, go and watch it over on the VOD or watch the YouTube video comes out, because it is an important thing to do, and it's awesome. It's got Mica and Matt in it, and it's going to be lovely. So you should go and check that out.
I also talk about my dog peeing on me, so, you know.
Hilarious story as well.
Does that make me want to watch it more or less?
Oh, come on. Everybody wants to laugh along with making fun of Mica. Her dog peed on her leg.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there anything else to mention this week? I didn't have any notes about anything, so I don't think that there's anything to bring out. No. In that case, let's play some Dungeons and Dragons. I thought we'd do a little bit of a quick summary because we might have some new people watching us today. And it's kind of at a good point in what's happened so far in the campaign for us just to recap on everything that's happened. So this campaign follows 4 young nobles and advisors who have become the wardens of a small village and the surrounding lands. It's set in Cormyr, which is a land of valorous knights, mystical mages, ancient forests, and hidden dangers. And for anybody new, let's have a quick summary of characters. I'm going to start with Anna, because I know she's got this locked down. Anna, who are you? Who are you playing? Give us a quick summary.
My character is Agnis Crownsilver. She is a Circle of Wildfire Wood Elf Druid, which is Unearthed Arcana. And what it means is that she can do some things with fire by summoning a fire spirit instead of wild shaping as a druid. Mm-hmm. So that's really fun. As far as her personality, it's also quite a bit fiery. She was born noble, but she resents her noble birth and thinks that it's all a bunch of nonsense. So she tries to use her position to care for people, but when you've been born with that much privilege, sometimes it's hard to know whether you're helping or hurting, I think. And but her half brother, another Crownsilver, is ShadyPenguinn.
That's me. Tarkhal Crownsilver is Agnes's half brother. He was born, I guess he's an illegitimate love child. I think he's legitimate though. He was a love child.
No one is illegitimate.
Exactly. That's why after I said, I'm like, you know what? No, Tarkhal's legitimate. He's a
Well, he is
legitimate
legit.
child, and now a legitimate man who has recently come into the nobility per request of his mother. And he definitely started out this journey very insecure, very coy, still a little insecure, but throughout the episodes, he's kind of laid out plans, and the plans have panned out. So he's gaining some confidence and kind of finding his footing, but definitely leans on Agnes a lot when it comes to what seems to be noble. And he's definitely picked up on her fiery spirit and distaste for nobility, whereas he kind of wants to embrace nobility and use all of its potential power for good, as Agnes does as well. But he doesn't have that, what was the word used before? Privilege? Was that he wasn't born with that privilege. He lived in the King's Woods with his father for all of his life up until this point. So, and that's it for Tarkhal. I'm going to pass it on to Azara.
Hi, I play a high elf sorcerer named Azara Mithras. She used to just be a war wizard and now has been upgraded to magister, which is just a fancy term for like, man, you kill a lot of things and kind of know how politics work, so here's a title. She has kind of a mixed bag of personality. She is kind of salty that, nobles just kind of are noble and don't seem to have as much power as her. However, she knows that like she has to do a good job. She really cares about the kingdom. So she's kind of fighting with like being snarky, but being kind, being helpful, but being selfish. She's always kind of at war with herself. Kind of like a nougaty truffle, or or the other way around. She's like hard on the outside, but actually really soft on the inside. And she has the blood of a blue dragon running through her veins. So she has like cool scales and pew lightning powers like Palpatine, and a cool magical girl transformation that I'm keeping in my back pocket for now. I can't wait to use. Little secret. Let's pop it over to my I'm looking at the screen. I think he's just to the right, or Marcel.
I play Marcel. He is a high elf eldritch knight. He's got a mask he wears all the time because he's all edgy and mysterious and broody, and he doesn't have really much to say about much. Oh, yeah, he talks to his sword for some reason.
He does. Yeah.
So I don't think like any of us has any of us like called him out on that, or have we never heard it? Our characters have never heard him talk to his sword yet.
I think at best a couple of you have heard him speak out loud, but you don't know who he's been talking to, and it's kind of muttered under his breath. It's not like super clear who he's talking to. It's kind of
gotcha.
Like, blah blah blah, and it is telepathic, so sometimes he doesn't speak out loud. So it's kind of like, yeah, I think that maybe you just figure that Marcel's weird. But yeah. And that's it. So those are the characters. That's the kind of setup of everything. In terms of a recap, I'll go into a bit more narrative speak now. Having arrived in the village of Eveningstar, our new lords and ladies, our party have cleared out the local keep of the thug called the Thornhand, as well as a mysterious woman who had been aiding him, leaving only a few vague clues, such as a strange scrying device and a skull with the word Shadowbriar engraved on it in Sylvan. The details of the Thornhand's motives and powers remain unclear. But before any steps could be taken in repairing the keep or the village, the party set off to rescue the local stonemason, a dwarven woman called Dagmar Ironeyes. Finding her and her stonecutters captive a venomous troll and some frog people, Agnis charmed the troll into letting the captives go, and then the party made sure that the troll and the tiny, cute frog people would never bother anyone ever again. And now our party has returned to Eveningstar, their new home, and many important decisions lay ahead of them. And following your return from rescuing Dagmar, unless there's anything you desperately want to interject, I was going to have a start with a fresh new day. The sun rises, catching golden and purple streaks across the rolling hills, bountiful orchards, and swaying forests of the land of Cormyr. The gentle sounds of the morning, however, are broken by the intense screeching of cats fighting. Hissing and screeching echoes out, especially through the windows of the upper floor of the keep's bailey, where our four nobles, our two nobles and two advisors are staying. It is early. For anybody who does wake up at the sound of these cats screeching all hell. It's like they're outside your windows, and it's loud as heck. And it is very, very early.
Did we manage to get a long rest before the cat started screeching?
You did manage to get a long rest, yes.
Great,
so
'cause
everybody
I
has had the
really
benefits
needed
of a long
one.
rest. Yes. I figured that with several injuries and spells deplenished, jumping to a new day would be advisable.
I was all acidy.
You
Yeah.
were.
But yeah, like what's people's reactions? Does anybody manage to sleep through it, or is this the kind of thing that would Azara fling open the windows and start yelling? Or what's the reactions to this hideous noise awaking you so early?
I feel like if there are any cats like right up like screaming outside Azara's window, she would cast like minor illusion just to kind of just like a booming sound to kind of just scare them away so she can get more sleep.
Yeah. So I think as Azara is conjuring in your kind of half-dazed, sleepy manner as you rise from bed, you kind of do realize that you are probably about 30 feet up because you're on the top floor of the keep. And yeah, you create the sound, and there is a booming sound, and you hear the fluttering of wings as the cats all make some sort of screeching noise, and they do begin to kind of disperse, and you see several of them fly past your window as these winged cats, almost like Siamese cats or long-furred kind of lynx cats that we would have here. And yeah, they just fly past, screeching past on wings.
Well, I'm gonna go back to sleep after that if they're gone. Yeah.
Yeah, I think like all of you do notice these cats literally fly past your window and then they vanish. And yeah, you a few more moments of peace allow you to continue resting. I'm just
I think we need a quick BRB because my camera broke.
Yeah. So well, let's do that
You're
quick.
Just very thoughtful.
No, I've been in thought for the past 10 minutes.
Cool. And we're back. Right, that should be fixed. We should have
I can move.
Jonathan's smiling face. Yeah, I know. You're not frozen in some sort of a thinker's pose.
I thought he was just like really thinking about cats, you know? Man, cats.
But yeah, despite the disturbance of the cats, you guys sleep through. But your sleep is disturbed again as for all of you, there is eventually a knock at your door. For Azara and Agnis coming to your rooms individually, you hear a very sweet sort of like, hello, dears. I'm terribly sorry to wake you, but I just wanted to check if you need any assistance getting ready or dressed. That's part of my duties. It's just so you know, it's just me. And this is the voice of Audrey Landstone, who is a gnomish housekeeper that had been introduced to you before. You can hear her.
And she's
kind of
come
like
over
little
to the
feet.
keep to hang out with us here.
Seemingly so. She's knocking on your door in the keep.
I don't require any help dressing. Agnes kind of like rolls over and trips out of bed.
Are you sure? It's really no problem. I don't mind. If not, well, I'll leave it to you, my lady. But if not, once I'm finished with Magister Azara, I'll be preparing breakfast downstairs. So you just come down, and if you need my help, just ring a bell, and I'll come running. And then she kind of shuffles away.
If it's
yes.
If it's not too much trouble, only if you have time. But maybe some tea.
Oh, of course, my lady, of course. I will bring that up momentarily. Just allow me to check in on Magister Azara, and then I'll be right there, my lady.
Thank you.
She scurries off, and then, yeah, Azara, you get the same thing of like, Magister, do you need any assistance this morning?
Does this town have any hair oils? It's like, I feel like Azara's like, her hair is all tangled from the new humidity or whatever is going on,
like sweat and fighting venom trolls and all of that kind of stuff.
Just couldn't quite get it out in the shower.
You do see the door kind of creaks open a little bit, and this little, very rosy-cheeked, gnomish, kind of dark, almost like a dark grayish skin, kind of peers through with one big eye, kind of peering through the crack. Well, my dear, I'm afraid there's no salons or beauty places here in Eveningstar, but I'm sure I've got something I could rustle up if it's just something to get the knots and the dirt out of the hair.
And as like a hand is like stuck in her hair, she's like, that's very needed. Thank you.
Shall I bring up a basin of hot water for my lady as well?
That would be, and she's like, that would be great. Thank you.
Of course, Magister. Of course, just a moment. And then she shuts the door. Meanwhile, for the gentleman, you also get a knock at the door, and you hear a very creaky old human man's voice. My lords, it is Master Goodfellow here, your retainer. Do you require any assistance getting dressed or prepared for the day's affairs?
No, I'm fine, thank you.
Very good, my lord. I believe that Audrey will be preparing a breakfast downstairs in the dining room. If that suits you, if you have any requests, I can pass them on to her, my lord.
No, whatever she prepares is fine, thank you.
Very good, Lord Crownsilver. Very good. And he shuffles off. You can hear him sort of creaking his way down the corridor. Marcel, you get the same treatment. You get a knock at the door like, Minister, do you require any assistance this morning?
What time is it right now?
This is probably early. This is like 8 a.m. You know, the sun has risen and you've been given a bit of time to sleep in after the sun has risen, but this is still early.
So Marcel will have probably already been out for a few hours.
Okay,
probably
sure.
Going to the forest and like finding his own means and breakfast and whatever.
Okay. Sure, yeah. So it's just
Marcel doesn't sleep even for like the enjoyment. He'll because we get the half
the
rest.
trance, the 4 hours, yeah.
Yeah. So he just kind of sits and broods for 4 hours and then just gets up and starts doing more stuff.
Okay, sure. So we just get this kind of like image of like poor old Nigel, this old doddering retainer. Hello, Minister. I don't wish to come in without your permission. Is everything all right? And then it just eventually just leaves and doesn't know what to do with himself. But yeah, for Azara, Audrey brings up a kind of hot basin of steaming water. Looks like it's been freshly kind of like boiled. She's a tiny gnome, so she's kind of heaving this giant basin in, but she manages to keep it relatively still. And accompanying it, wrapped up in a small little cloth package, is a little glass bottle of some sort of hair ointment. You're not really sure where she's gotten it from because it looks quite expensive, but she kind of leaves that with the basin and sort of like smiles and nods at you, and then leaves you to kind of deal with your own affairs. Yeah, eventually I'm going to guess that you all make your way downstairs. Marcel, do you come back to the keep at any point, Marcel, or are you going to kind of go about your own business throughout the whole day?
If I'm able to have scrounged up or hunted something for breakfast, I would make my way back like after that.
Okay, yeah. So, like, I mean, the King's Forest is just south of Eveningstar. It's maybe a couple of hours trek to get to like thick, deep woodland. But even between there is enough, like, you know, you can find patches of wild berries. You can find small game like rabbits and things to hunt if that's something that Marcel would want to do. There is a river to fish in. You could literally pop down to the river and fish. With the right, you know, tools. So easily capable of you know, providing a small breakfast for one person. If it would be quite roughsman affair, but yeah, for sure. Do you do anything in that time, Marcel? Like, is this like a moment of quiet contemplation, or is this actively doing things just for like, I need food, must survive kind of deal?
A bit of both, honestly.
Okay.
He's adjusted to like solitude and fending for himself, and he finds like a comfort in that kind of pressure.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I think like maybe when you're kind of sitting down in those quiet moments, you do hear the voice coming from the sword again. So what's next? I guess that we've got this position and you will get some gold. Maybe we hire someone to look into everything, or do you think that some of the people you're now, I guess, working with could help?
I don't think we've saved enough to take care of our affairs, but well, I also don't think that the people we're with would be of any help, or would even want to, for that matter. So I think we stay on track with this plan, and we continue saving resources until something presents itself.
Yes, that's probably a good idea. I am curious that woman, the mage that you fought, she seemed to. I think she could sense me, or she knew that I wasn't just a magical weapon. I could. I know you didn't use me to detect anything, but I mean, I could tell that she was powerful, very powerful.
She was also very, perhaps evil, crazy. Doesn't seem like the type to help.
No, although I guess evil and crazy is what got us into the current position we're in. I just hope that we don't have to rely on evil and crazy to get us out of it.
Well, at this point, it wouldn't be the biggest surprise.
Yes, I suppose so. All right, well, at least we've got a lovely view. And after that, the sword kind of goes quiet for a moment as you stare out. And Cormier is a beautiful landscape. You know, this is a place where there is a homeliness to it. You know, it's not the crowded, busy streets of a city like Suzail or Arabelle. You know, this is quaint, quiet countryside, you know, full of just beautiful rolling hills and, you know, orchards that smell of apples, and kind of there's a sense of calm here almost. Yeah, and we see kind of Marcel just enjoying a brief moment of quiet. For the rest of you come down. There is a small kitchen, but it is attached to a larger dining room, a very sparse dining room at this point. All of the damage that the thorn hand had done, there is still evidence of like physical damage to the furniture, to the walls, but any of like the blood or any of the kind of unpleasantness has been cleared out and washed away. But the keep is still very sparse. There isn't much decoration. It is very plain. There is not much in the way of finery here. It's all been sort of torn down or sold or soiled. But the breakfast is at least substantial. You can see that Audrey has prepared a large breakfast of a sweet porridge, various jams, fresh fruits, sizzling bacon, but not a lot of bread. There doesn't seem to be a lot of like bread here. It's, you know, other sort of affair. And you are left alone. The three of you. Marcel doesn't arrive. The only person who does turn up is Nigel, this kind of retainer, this kind of groundsman that is in your service. And he simply briefly arrives to say, I just wish to inform, my lords and ladies, that Mr. Dusk said he would be arriving shortly after your breakfast. I believe that there are still various matters to be attended to around the village. If you require anything, my lords and ladies, please just call for myself or Audrey. We are now stationed here. We've set ourselves up to be at your call if you need us.
I was just wondering if anyone had any time to just grab me some tea real fast, just tea.
Oh yes, okay. Of course, my lady. I'm Audrey must have forgotten about it.
Yeah, I mean, no worries. I mean, I can get it myself.
No, I will speak to her, my lady. Okay. I will make sure that it doesn't happen again. This is okay. Very even for Audrey. This is unacceptable, but I will make sure it is done. You'll see. And he wanders off. And returns, you know, very promptly afterwards with a large iron kettle and several cups, and all laid out ready for you to. He pours it and everything for you. But yeah, you guys have a moment of just quiet time where it's just the three of you.
I think that Azara would be really focused on like writing up this long list that she's been working on of things that she wants to do to the keep, since she has free reign of decoration. So it's like a catalog of furniture, what should go where. She's probably sketched up like little designs of different rooms, so it's probably spread out all in front of her with like a little bit of breakfast to the side and probably a glass of wine, no matter what time it is.
Sure.
And she's like kind of taking like a few berries while like really intensely focusing on on her art, on her work.
Sure. Okay. Cool. Yeah.
Agnes will look over and be like, do we need that much furniture? I mean, couldn't we just use that money to help rebuild the town?
She'll look up. Well, part of the town is our keep, and our keep is where we stay, and where we stay is very important. We can't be living amongst squalor and nothingness. You are, in fact, a lady. And she just goes back to drawing.
She leaves no opening for Agnes to.
Nope.
Just like,
Yeah, absolutely not.
Agnes just, she does kind of do that, like that. And then she just goes to her tea. You need this first.
Azara will shift over the designs for Agnes's bedroom just to kind of quiet her, which is like a big 4-poster like forest wood bed that she asked for, and like shelves like that you can hold potions and herbs and even little cages and beds for animals that she can keep, like definitely bribing her to just shut up.
Yeah.
Agnes turns into just a like, not my business.
Kermit sipping tea. I love it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's not my job. She's making it. I don't know.
Sure. What about
is
Tarkhal?
there any breakfast
sorry.
that is there any breakfast that's vegetarian? You said bacon and stuff.
Yeah, there's like a porridge that doesn't have any meat and stuff in it. There's like a porridge, there's jams, fresh fruits. There's probably not as much like vegetables. They'd probably have that for dinner, but there's most of the fare is in fact kind of simple and non-meat. There is some bacon, but yeah, it is plenty
She
of
kind
options.
of wrinkles her nose at any of the meat products.
I'm a druid. Can't possibly eat meats. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, perfect. Yeah. So, and the cooking is excellent. Like this is a wonderful kind of little spread of food and porridge and things like that. And the jams all look homemade, and you can see that they've been put into lovely little jars wrapped with sackcloth and things like that. What about Tarkhal? Tarkhal, any things that Tarkhal is up to in the morning, or does he want to talk about anything with anyone?
I think he's just eating pretty ferociously.
Yeah.
And like super non-mannered, elbows on the table, head down. And I think he's just has his head spinning about what other good we can do. He's like, at this point, his chest is almost up a little bit when he walks. He's like very proud of how smoothly things have been going since he's taken up his position. Okay. So he's not really, he definitely has thoughts about the conversation about spending a ton of money on the keep. And he is just having flashbacks of the dresses that the girls were trying to take before we went and saved our smithy friends. So yeah, I think he's just pretty focused, and he's not thrilled about that, but he's keeping it to himself right now.
Okay, sure. I think, Marcel, if you do eventually make your way back, when you do, you see a familiar figure kind of making their way up the hill towards the keep, moving somewhat slowly because they're carrying a cane with a slight limp in their leg. But you see the purple-skinned tiefling, Dusk, who is the seneschal, the kind of retainer, the person that you go to when you want stuff done in the town or at the keep. He's kind of your man that you go to with problems, and then he will tell you how he can fix them and how much it will cost. And he is making his way slowly, kind of limping with the cane and making his way up, and you can see him looking up at the keep and kind of nodding his head like he kind of like tips a little. He doesn't wear a hat, but he kind of tips his hand to a few of the soldiers who are on the walls and now patrolling around. But he seems to be making his way to the keep.
I will I'll catch up with him.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. He kind of like he hears you coming. When you kind of like make your way up to him, he does kind of like turn around at just the right moment to kind of like, he's like, "Oh, Lord Minister Marcel, I expected you to be at the keep. Were you out this morning?"
I was.
Oh, well,
I've gotten a full night's rest. I have breakfast in me. So what's next for us?
Well, there's a few things that I'll need to discuss. Many of them I already mentioned, but there's lots of opportunity. I feel that now that the Thorn Hand has been dealt with and that you've rescued our Mason, well, really, it's a matter of opportunity now. Hopefully, we'll see many peaceful months and seasons, but there's always more that can be done in a position like this. I'm sure that at some point, visitors will be arriving, and well, we need to think about how best to suit the village moving forwards. Hopefully not as much for you to do as a minister of arms, perhaps training some troops, protectors, that sort of thing, but hopefully no high-flying adventures.
Very well. Where are these troops that need training?
Well, that's something that we need to discuss, Minister. I think perhaps better discussed with everyone else. But one of the facts is that if we repair the keep, once it's finished, we'll be able to house more troops. I'd value what troops you would like me to try and find for you. I can try and purposely hire troops of a certain type. I can try and just put the list out and see who responds, see what mercenaries are attracted to our doors. But otherwise, I can petition the Cormyrian army to see if they'll send more dragon knights, that sort of thing. But yes, I think perhaps something to discuss with everybody else. I'm sorry if I keep you. My leg is particularly stiff this morning, and he kind of hobbles his way towards the keep. Yeah. Okay. So Marcel and Dusk both arrive, kind of entering the doors. Dusk opens the door for Marcel to go first, and follows in through behind him. And he finds you all as you have finished breakfast. And I'm sure, Azara, you now have a very long, detailed schematic of many of the rooms and places here in the keep. Dusk bows down extremely low. My honorable lords and ladies, Magister, Minister, are you all well? Did you sleep and are you recovered from yesterday's rescue mission?
Quite recovered, thank you. I apologize for my appearance when I returned, but I'm glad that we were able to make this place just a little safer.
My lady, please. I think in a way it does people good to see those recovering from such endeavors that it was not easy. It's a reminder that you are here for a reason and that you are the right people for the job. I do, in that regard, I do have some news. I keep my ear close to the ground with the people of Eveningstar. A young man that I work with, Aaron, has also been keeping his ear to the local populace, and things are very positive. People are very glad that you came when you did. They're very pleased and encouraged by your skills, your expertise, and the way that you've handled things so far. I believe that everybody in the town is thinking of you quite favorably. You've made quite the impression. As an out-of-character note, so the way that I'm running some of the background stuff for this, with the Coal Kingdom management managing a town, there is a stat for Eveningstar called happiness. And I am tracking happiness. I'm not always going to tell you when you gain it and when you lose it, but I can tell you that at certain thresholds, when you reach certain amounts of happiness, you will get a reward. You will get a bonus. It might be a magic item. It might be a permanent boost to something that you get. Obviously, it will get better as you go up, and the people of Eveningstar are more happy. But in this case, as long as the people stay at this level of happiness or higher, you will have anytime you make a charisma persuasion check with a local, you will add an extra D4 because they see you as like, oh, okay, they've come, they've done some really good things. They see you in a good light, basically. So yeah, so everybody seems pleased, and just make a note that any persuasion checks on a local of Eveningstar, you will have a plus D4 to the roll.
I love that mechanic. That's cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
really cool.
Yeah, it's fun. Thank you. Yeah, so that's so there are other things that I track as well, but I'm not going to always tell you about them. And obviously, if the happiness drops, there are consequences for that sort of thing happening. So that's a thing to keep in mind.
If our island gets 3 stars, will KK Slider come?
Well, who knows? Who knows, Mica? For your town, 5-star rating on Eveningstar.
Listen,
and,
I just want a dog
Elminster
to come and
or
sing.
Drist comes along, yeah. Drist
But
and his
strangely,
new
he
band.
doesn't wear any clothes. I don't know.
Yeah, I want a naked dog
Yeah.
to come and sing.
Back in terms of game terms, Dusk kind of smiles and may I take a seat? There are several other matters that I wish to go over.
Please, yes, of course.
Thank you, my lady. He sits down, and from a satchel, he pulls out a large leather ledger, and it seems to be that he keeps extensive notes about everything about the town. Upon your request, I have calculated the funds that were recovered from the Thornhands plunderings, as well as the bursary that you arrived with from Queen Raedra. I can tell you that in Eveningstar's treasury, we have about 4,500 gold. Not all of it in coin, some of it in trade goods, in luxury items, that sort of thing, but I estimate it to be worth that amount. I also spoke with the people and have an inventory of what was taken from them. About 1,500 gold belonged to the people of Eveningstar. Now, you mentioned, my lady Crownsilver, that you wanted me to reach out and see if they would be willing to give up some of their money in exchange for infrastructure in the town, or if they would want it all back, what the extent of that was. I will be honest, the majority of the people in the town would like their livings back. For many people, this was their savings, equipment that they used to run their businesses. It represents, family heirlooms. That said, a small amount they were willing to donate individually that amounted to about 200 gold, which would mean returning about 1,300 of it, if you wish to give that back to the people. Now, by law, by legal rights, this is your money. This is your funds to do with as you want. The people will probably not be very happy if you decide to keep it, but it could go in the long run towards infrastructure, towards building things that could help the town benefit in larger ways. It's really your decision, but I will need to know today, as I will need to begin delivering that back out to people, and they'll need it for the upcoming seasons.
Well, of course, all of us, and she looks at everyone, all of us are far more interested in what is morally correct as opposed to legally correct. And I think absolutely we'd like to return what was stolen to the people of our town. She looks
Dusk
for
looks at the
agreement
other
from the
three.
rest of them, like expecting them to be like, yeah, of course we do.
I do think we have a moral obligation in this position to do what's best for our town, even if the people feel it immoral. However, on this matter, I do agree that I think we should return the money. I agree with Agnes.
Who are we to say we know what's best for these people? Do you think you're better than them? Do you think that just because you have the name Crownsilver, now somehow you have more moral authority than the people of this town, brother?
No, I just think we have a responsibility, I thought, to do what's best for the people. It's a weight, it's a burden that we must bear. It's not a matter of better, it is a matter of burden.
Well, so long as we don't think we understand that burden better than each individual person, I would think.
I will say
That's none of my business, T.
the Baron and Baroness have final say, but I do think it important that both advisors provide their insights. I feel that they've been put in this position for a reason. He kind of looks towards Marcel and Azara like...
If I may, I happen to agree with what Lady Crownsilver is saying, seeing as the loyalty and fealty of our townspeople is quite important to a prestigious and sustained run here. However, money is important. So as a compromise, perhaps we send some of our soldiers out on bounties, collect some money that way, not putting our own lives at risk to supplement the income, and everyone can have their cake and eat it too.
Do we need more money? I mean,
yes, we always need more money.
Oh.
She just kind of like stops herself.
Yes, we need more money. Minister Marcel, anything to add?
That one said we need more money. I'm inclined to agree with that. End statement.
Very well. Well, I can always begin looking for any opportunities to send out our troops to try and make some more money. Generally, that sort of thing is left to adventurers, but there's plenty of bandits and thugs up in the hills, hobgoblin tribes and the like that are raiding merchants. We could reclaim those goods, perhaps. There's definitely opportunities. I will look into that, Magister Azara. Well, if we are agreed, I will begin making those preparations. If we return it and take their donations, that would reduce us to approximately 3,300 gold. Now, I've spoken with Dagmar, our mason, that you recovered. Her and her stonecutters are doing much better. They're currently resting and feeding, but she suspects that they'll be back to work within a week or so. Now, speaking with them, The keep, the damage to the outer walls and to the tower and to the interior buildings as well as small repairs around Eveningstar itself. She believes that the quarry can help replicate some of this. However, it will cost an additional 1,000 gold. This will be used to pay for materials, labor, tools, and it will take approximately a season to complete the works. A season being 3 months in a game term.
Long time, all right.
Tarkhal
Well,
was
I mean,
not
it's
expecting that.
it's that's the kind of thing where in this campaign, I think we're going to be doing a lot of like, and a season passes. What do you guys do in 3 months kind of thing? We're not gonna play out every single day. So when I say a season, we might see like a whole week or a whole month go by very quickly. So don't worry about that taking too long because that might come like that.
Gotcha.
And so the repairs that means like repairs to the keep and anything in the city that's been damaged, or is that just our keep?
No, that includes the damage to Eveningstar as well. Most of the buildings in the village and to the outlying farms it will be easy for the masons to repair. A few broken foundations. The inn is the one that took the most damage, but it is a private establishment and not technically under the authorization of the town. I can introduce you to its current owner, Kira. I believe that since the Thorn Hand, I don't imagine that she'll be able to return the business to what it was. So there could be an opportunity for you to perhaps purchase it in terms of in the name of the town, or perhaps make a deal with her in some way. She is the deed holder, but I can introduce you if you like. But yes, that 1,000 gold will cover the repairs to the keep and to the village itself. It will also mean that it will be completely defensible. And as well, once we complete those repairs, we'll be able to house more troops, something I already mentioned to Minister Marcel. We will be able to recruit 2 more units of troops, one during the repairs and then another one when the repairs are complete. Now, I can put out a list and see who responds to that. We could get mercenaries, we could get knights from one of the cities, or I can try and find a certain type of troops, archers, for example, or cavalry, if that's what we wanted to have in our repertoire. Obviously, they have different skills suited for different purposes, but I leave that to what you think best. Would you like me to begin that work? I will have to deduct the money immediately.
1,000 gold for the repairing the town sounds like money well spent to me.
I agree.
Very well. Any opinions from our advisors?
It's money that needs to be spent, I suppose.
If I may speak freely, Magister, I do agree. I think that this is one of those important matters, and it will make a great symbol to the town, but also it will protect you. If any more attacks or if we have any monsters that come roaming out of the mountains, I'd much rather we have strong walls to defend ourselves with. I think it best in the interests to do this. Now, those are the only expenditures that I needed to bring to your attention. That gives us around 2,300 gold left. Now, this doesn't include taxation. Upkeep of our units will not be too much. So really, I would advise you all to consider what you would like that money spent on. We can build new buildings here in town. We can hire new people to come and work for us. The types of buildings are extensive. Rather, I think it best you tell me what you would like. I will tell you what kind of cost it may have and what effect it may have. But I really want this. I think that this is a vision needs to be led from you on what you want Eveningstar to be. What kind of place is it? What kind of opportunities will it provide? And that is really your decision. So I leave that to you to discuss in private, perhaps. And there is no rush. There's plenty of time for us to hire people and build things. I hope that your reign here in Eveningstar will be lengthy. And so we'll have plenty of opportunity to capitalize on it. Yes,
I think
please,
before Dusk even finishes, Azara will step in and go, I know you said we have plenty of time to think about it. However,
Of course.
Seeing as our good lady here was so damaged in our last battle, I think it is important at once that we look into an alchemist and someone who can provide potions, possibly at a discount, towards us and our adventures. Because if we are, as I'm assuming we are going to be adventuring out on our own, often, as we have such sparky spirited nobles here, we should have backup, seeing as I am not skilled in healing magic, and I don't think any of us are.
Indeed, an alchemist here in town. Well, not only I believe that if we were to construct something like that, and I will need to do a little bit of research into the costs and how long that will take, but my assumption would be it will generate some income for the treasury. It will generate some income for the town itself, for the people that come here, but also there will probably be a byproduct. You'll probably be able to get a certain amount of healing potions or elixirs just for free each week or each month or each season, whatever it happens to be. But it will also generate income for the town as well. That's definitely something I can look into, Magister. Certainly, I will put that on my agenda immediately to investigate for you. I will mention two other things. You mentioned there about going out on adventures yourselves. Certainly, and I mean, I am offering no presumptions to this. However, if four adventurous, heroic, skilled individuals were to go out and find a dungeon full of gold or magical relics that could be sold, or perhaps find a bandit camp that has been plundering a nearby town, those sorts of funds, well, they're not taxed, my good lords and ladies. We do not owe any of that money to the crown. That means it is free for us to spend however we see fit. Simply a suggestion on my behalf. If you would like me to investigate any such locations, that is, again, something I could do for you if you wish.
I am not a fan of owing any money to the crown, so I vote yes.
Of course. Well, that is, you will have plenty of time to go out on your own adventures if that is what you wish. There will be, Cormyr is an ancient land full of many places to explore and investigate. The other thing I will mention, Magister, I notice you seem to have some plans there for decoration and furnishings.
Azara's eyes light up. She's like, this is the moment she's been waiting for. And she like slides and almost kind of like slams like this thick layer of lists and artistry across the table to Dusk. And she's like, this is just a gentle suggestion about what this keep could possibly turn into. As you can see, I've color coded in order of importance what we currently need for well-being, what would be lovely for aesthetics, and what would be ideal once we have enough money for it. I have an itemized list here, here, and here. It goes by room here, here, and here. And I think that it would be very important for our emotional well-being and for morale if our bedrooms were personalized. And if nobody here minds, I will be taking the tower as my own personal abode, and I will be working out of it, living out of it, and training out of it if nobody has objection.
Agnes is looking at these schematics and she's like, I thought we talked about adding a secret tunnel to the keep.
And then she like whips out this long secret tunnel design and she's like, oh, I did not forget. Don't worry.
Well, first of all, Magister, I love the organization. I'm a big fan of lists and structured meta things like this. There's a couple of things. First of all, decorating the keep. As it is right now, if we were to have guests, visitors, perhaps from Arabelle or any other town, if any nobility were to visit, their impression of Eveningstar would not be good. Mm-hmm. It is not up to the standard that many nobles expect. That could damage your reputations and your interactions with them. You've provided me three options here. Depending on these three options, the bare minimal will not leave a good impression, but it will not be disastrous. The kind of middling option would provide no additional benefits, but no harm would be done. They would see it as just a functional, standard, keep to visit. However, if we go for the lavish option, well, you would be making an excellent impression on any visiting nobles or dignitaries, perhaps giving you advantage in your ability to persuade or intimidate them if you wish. These costs vary in price. For the base level, it will cost about 300 gold for the very minimal amount of furnishings, 600 for a standard amount of affair, a good, well-decorated keep, clothing and accessories for all of you, that sort of thing. But for 900 gold, we could make Starwatch Keep very presentable. Very, very presentable. The secret tunnel, I will need to investigate. Nobles
that would look down on us for living modest lives so that our people can thrive. What a load of she starts going on about the nobility and how like it's a corrupt, rotting institution, and just she's kind of
Azara will
pacing
put
and
her
muttering.
hand up just to try and calm her. My lady, of all my time spent in court, I've learned the phrase, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. You may not want to agree with the nobles. You may not like to agree with the nobles. You may not like nobles at all. However, if a war was to come upon us and we needed allies, those people that you hate with a lot of money and a lot of power can save not just your life, but the lives of your villagers. So if they may look down upon us for not wearing fancy dresses or having tapestries in the hallway, so be it. However, we need that power in our corner, whether you like it or not. And that's just my 2 cents.
The system is rotten.
I agree.
Agree that the system is rotten?
Indeed. It's all egos and reputations, and it's unnecessary. When war comes to war, that only gets in the way.
Agnes
don't
is
see it.
very surprised and delighted that he's agreeing with her.
I'm not disagreeing with the two of you. However, nothing is changing currently, and we can't find ourselves screwed out of potential allies because you people don't like nobles. That's just how you die. So until things change, we have to play the game.
Things won't change if we don't change it. I thought we were, Agnes, don't we want to topple things on their head a bit?
We don't have the power to topple anything. We are a new established town. We
feel
have
very
to play
powerful. I feel like we've had a lot of success.
You have done 2 things well. I'm sorry, my lord. You are doing a great job. However, we are a
took this
small
entire
town.
keep without insistence. Why would we need it in the future?
Because this is Cormier. We are isolated when it comes to worldly events. We are no one. And once we are someone, we can make a change. But until then, we have to play the game. You can't break the rules unless you know them.
Well, if this is a security concern, it seems we should look to the security expert. Marcel, do you think we should go with the small, medium, or large decoration package?
Very much what it is.
You're asking my consult on what level of uselessness we should waste money on, then.
Well, I mean, we do need chairs to sit on. I think that's fair, but
There's no better back support than a solid ground beneath you.
Why are you asking him this?
well, you said it was all about the impression that we give other nobles because we might need help in a war. So I figured that was his area of expertise.
Now we did promise Lady Azara to have say on the decorations. I think we should meet in the middle. I do tend to agree, coming from the woods, that we don't need much. I agree with Marcel, but I also think that we can't have division between us. If there's division between us, there's division in Eveningstar. So, Azara, is it okay if we start in the middle and work our way towards the bigger dreams?
Now, see, if you asked my opinion in the first place, that's what I was going to say. Thank you, Lord Crownsilver. And I think that upon our first hosting of dignitaries, we should spend the money to at least complete the grand ballroom in all of its finery and buy new outfits for all of us to put on the appearance of what they would like. Then we can have the medium package, and once we gain more funds, we can just go all out.
It is certainly something that can be improved in time, my lords and ladies. This is merely to furnish it as it is now, to make sure that we have a something here. But it can be improved in time. My lady, and he gestures to Agnes.
What if, in order to provide for the needs that you are concerned about, Magister, in terms of impressing others and looking like a thriving town, could we do that in a way that benefits our town, our people? I do think that they've had their spirits crushed, and it would be good to lift their spirits and give them reason to celebrate. So what if, when the repairs are finished, we have a large festival to celebrate them, and there will be food and drink and wealth to share with the people? That would give a good impression, wouldn't it?
I think that's a wonderful idea. As long as we have the new troops, patrolling and making sure that my lord and my lady are safe, that there are no ne'er-do-wells about coming into our keep. I think it would be a grand gesture to open the doors and to let everyone in and show that you aren't just nobles, but you're villagers and citizens as well. And we will have the best food brought in. We will decorate the grand ballroom to the nines, and everyone can have a weekend of revelry. How does that sound?
Perfect. One more thing.
Of course.
In the name of morale,
Mhm.
I do believe we need a mascot that reflects the local feel. And I feel we need a Tressum as our symbol of Eveningstar to come live in the palace with us for no reason other than simply helping the people, and not because I want to have a pet Tressum.
My lady,
You
do you
see
just want to
Dusk.
press him?
At the word Tressum, Dusk is like, you see him grimacing, like physically, like,
no.
He's like, there are plenty of Tressum in the local area, my lady. I'm sure that you could have your pick of one here in the keep if you wish.
Yes, what better representation for our fair city than shrill screaming in the early hours of the morning?
Well, if we have a well cared for Tressum in the keep, it probably won't scream at all hours of the morning. In fact, we should adopt all of those Tressum and care for them so they won't screech together.
All of the Tressum. Yes, very good.
A whole flock.
Agnes, let's start with one Tressum, perhaps, and we'll see how we handle that. You don't want to take on too much. We got a whole town under our feet as well.
I have to prove I'll feed it and take care of it before I can have another one.
Yes.
Very much. Oh, well, as I mentioned, that they are wild around here. There's so many that nobody really sells them. You normally just go out and feed one, and then it keeps coming back until you keep it in your house. That's how the locals do it, anyway. Still, if that's something you would like me to look into, I can do. That's something up for you. My last
I'm
order.
sure
of
Aubrey
business-
can help us with feeding it and capturing it.
Oh, I'm sure Miss Audrey would love having a Tressum around the place.
I'm sure she. Who wouldn't?
Indeed.
I wouldn't.
Who wouldn't? My last order of business is something I mentioned to you before, and I would recommend perhaps after we're done here in our detailings, go and explore Eveningstar. Go and see the people and meet them and find out. There are a few problems. You mentioned a festival, my lady Agnes. If you would like to have something like that, I would recommend. There's been a problem with one of our local food providers, a bakery, a social problem. No monsters to slay or anything like that. They're having some drama amongst the people. Perhaps your guidance could help smooth things out. That would be very useful to figure out before such a festival. Likewise, this problem with the inn, Kira Highcastle, she's lost a lot of money through the Thorn Hand and delayed shipments and ruined stock. Again, something perhaps to investigate and deal with before this festival. The other thing to mention, I mentioned it last time, these prisoners. You took several of these thugs and bandits prisoner last time. Some of them are here in the keep, down in the cellars. Some of them are actually locked up in the ruins of the inn back in town. The people are still very angry. They assume that you're going to execute them, but you've captured them whilst you were rescuing Dagmar. That's the rumor that's going around the town, that you've captured them so that they can be publicly executed. Because they just assume that that's what you're going to do, because that's what they expect. These people have lost loved ones, they've lost homes, they've lost years of hard work on their businesses. They're furious. So I just thought I should bring that up. If this is left to fester, it's not an immediate problem, but if it's left to fester, it could create some bad blood amongst the people. Just something to consider.
We did talk about the problems with trying to allow these prisoners to pay off their debt by helping to rebuild the town. But could they not do lengthy community service in the quarry away from the town and be providing for our rebuilding efforts?
That is certainly something that you could do. I don't know how the people would react to that off the top of my head. It may have a diminished effect. Some may still grumble about it, but I imagine that it would still lessen it. I would suggest that you speak with Dagmar, Iron Eyes, however. Technically, it is her quarry. She has the rights and the deeds to operate it. So any final decision, I mean, you could force her to do it, but that certainly wouldn't endear you to her. But speak to her. Maybe she'd be willing to take on a few of them. I imagine not all of them, however, but maybe a few, a good sort of 10 men or women that you've captured could be put into some sort of penal service, some sort of community service. Certainly, I think that is something you could explore. But still, again, no clear options, no clear answers on this one. Just your judgment and what you think is best. Still, that is all I have. Is there anything from my lords or ladies that you need from me before I go? I have some business in the village.
Yes, Dusk. I had this
Of course,
vision
my lord.
for a building in town, something that could potentially create revenue, but also boost morale of those who enter it. Something of a magical bath or springs that people would pay to come in, and it would have some sort of boon to their spirits. I think it could be something useful for us before we go out, and also something that could create some income for the town.
My Lord Crownsilver, this is a fantastic idea. That is something. A bathhouse is definitely something we could look into. There's a lovely pond, a small lake nearby the village that a lot of the locals use. It's very picturesque, very lovely. Something could be built around that, perhaps, to create more of a sectioned off areas, buildings where people can change. A magical source of that. Now that is something that I think the four of you would need to find some sort of item, or perhaps a monster part, or I don't know, the heart of a dryad or something like that. Something that you could perhaps, I can help research it, but I think it would need some sort of special component to provide that sort of mystical benefit. Now, if you can bring me that, I can have the building constructed, the staff employed, and all of that sort of thing. But I think that, yeah, something like that, that's definitely something we could do. But perhaps Magister Azara could help research into something of that nature. The King's Wood is full of all sorts of strange, mystical places. There's always stories of magic healing pools and creatures that can soothe wounds, that sort of thing. River spirits that could bless it or something like that. That's definitely something that if you can find a way, then that's definitely something we can make happen. The other option, of course, is if you want somewhere that's going to boost morale and bring in some income, the tavern. If you can get that sorted, I can tell you now that will generate significant amounts of income for yourselves, for the town, and will boost morale as well. So something to consider. But I will begin looking into the costings of the physical bathhouse, or whatever you want to call it, along with Magister Azara's alchemist shop. I hope to have those with you within a week or so, potentially. But yes, is there anything else? Anything else at all?
As long as this bathhouse wouldn't diminish the natural beauty of the pond that already exists, we wouldn't want to destroy any of the beautiful environment of our land.
Well, perhaps Milady Crownsilver could be a sort of manager on the project to make sure that these natural elements aren't interfered with.
If that's all right with Tarkhal, of course.
Yes, of course. I think also it would be good if the townsfolk already use this pond, perhaps to leave some of it free, and then we'll have a sort of a premium area that will hopefully, if we have our ear to the ground, we can find this boon to make the premium area magical.
Yes, I think that's definitely something we can do.
Hot
Eveningstar
spring
spa
tears.
sub. Yeah,
Right.
spa sub. You get a gym in there. You can build like a little training routine in there as well. Massages.
Patreon instead of nope, I'll
Patreon.
stop.
I love it. Love it. Perfect. Dusk normally just turns and is like, anything else? Minister Marcel, and anything at all.
Dusk, you mentioned for this army potentially recruiting mercenaries. Did you have someone in mind?
Well, normally, my lord, what I do is I put out the feelers to the right channels. Who we get is not necessarily random, but we get an eclectic mix of people that might apply or might come for the job. If you have anybody in particular, I could always reach out to them to see if they would be willing to come and work for us.
I'll think on it.
Of course, my lord. But yes, otherwise I will get to work.
And on that
Yes.
note, before you leave, speaking of particular mercenaries or soldiers you can hire, is there any chance we could possibly enlist one of my fellow war wizards or more mages about? It would be nice to speak of magic with someone else in this town.
Oh, of course, my
I
lady.
do
I feel
magic.
that
Just-
is. Sorry, what was?
Mhm.
Oh,
Nothing.
my apologies, Melody. I thought you said something. No, Magister, I think that is certainly doable. I think the biggest problems we would factor there is accommodations for them. That would need to be constructed, perhaps a second level or another tower in the keep or something like that, or something like that. Also, what sort of facility they would fulfill. For example, if you would like to have a library with a researcher, that would be certainly possible. And if you know somebody, I can have the arrangements made for them to come and work for you. That would certainly make researching magical topics less strenuous for yourself.
As it so happens, I actually have someone perfect in mind. So if we could add a library, maybe an astronomy tower to that list, that would be wonderful.
A library is actually quite doable with the tower as it is, with the repairs going on to it. I could set up a basic library for 500 gold for buying all the necessary books, research equipment, and accommodations for your scribe if you have one.
I actually do have one in mind. Someone from home.
Would you like me to put that on into the treasury?
If
Baroness?
This library would be free for all citizens of Eveningstar, right?
Well, it would be stationed here in the keep, and it would technically fall under Magister Azara as the local magister. Any access to magical knowledge and research falls primarily within Magister Azara's region, so it would be up to her whether it is allowed. I could have a section of it made available to the public, but keep perhaps the more magical topics separate for Lady Azara. It just won't be as expansive for the public.
I think
Why would we keep magic away from the people?
magic in
Dusk
the wrong
looks-
hands is I'm like, magic in the wrong hands is detrimental, and magic in experienced hands is even worse, and magic in non-magically attuned hands can be disastrous. But I would love to open the library doors to every citizen, as long as those topics are not about destructive, perilous, could be turned evil magic.
I think that we could
Perhaps-
make it. Please, lady. Please, my lady.
Perhaps we could have some sort of application process by which someone could prove that they are of sound mind and proper skill and then gain access. Because I certainly wouldn't want anyone to feel like we're hoarding any knowledge or power for ourselves.
Oh no, in that case, I will take all of the little sparrows under my wing and I will teach them the ways of magic. However, I will be the ones to vet them.
Yes, I think that actually, now that you mention it, Lady Crownsilver, it's a good idea. I believe in Arabel, the nearby city, there's a larger library of Ogmar. If you ever wanted to do research or investigate any matters, I would highly recommend it. They have a similar process. Either the High Priest of Ogmar or the Duchess of Arabel itself must give permission for you to access its more esoteric subjects. We could have something of a similar nature where permission is granted by Magister Azara, and then they are free to come and go as they wish. We could implement such a system.
I would love that, actually.
So, Baron and Baroness, do I have the approval to spend 500 gold on a library construction in Magister Azara's tower?
Agnes nods.
Just to be clear, that puts us down to what is that? 900 gold left in the treasury, or 1,200?
Currently, I have. If we assume that you would like to spend the middle package for furnishing the keep, that would put us at 1,200 gold, Baron Crownsilver. Yes.
Yes, I think a library is very important. That's fair.
This is excellent news. I will get to work on these wonderful decisions immediately. My lords and ladies, I thank you for your time. I'm sorry to have kept you for so long. I'm looking forward to working with you. I think that this is a beautiful start to a very promising village. And he bows low and then makes his way out with a kind of sharp click of his heels, snaps the cane under his arm, and then makes his way out. Yeah.
Above
you guys are
game,
left.
did he say that he was going to look into like dungeons and stuff for us to pillage and raid?
Yeah, so he
Okay,
will
cool.
look into that. That is a thing where your dungeon master needs to also start
gotcha.
planning those. So,
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah, your dungeon master might need to go and create some adventuring locations for you to go to. But yeah, so yeah, he'll do that as well. So I believe that his current list is pricing for the alchemy shop and the spa, shady spa that he wants, his spa episode. And then the sourcing the adventuring locations, I think, is his sort of main objectives. But yeah. So yeah, you guys are now free. Like, how do you guys want to play this? Do you guys want to like go off and do stuff? Do you want to like speed up some time? You tell me. How do you want to run?
Agnes is going to suggest to the party after Dusk leaves that they should follow up about this tavern situation. We should go visit the tavern and see what they need, and perhaps consider providing subsidy for their rebuilding.
Yeah, I think we should definitely head over there, and I think the four of us in unity would be great to solve whatever matters trouble them.
We might as well solve 2 birds, 1 stone while we go into the village and find out whatever's happening with this bakery as well. Get all of our errands done before we return.
I could go for a roll.
I could go for a cupcake.
That's like the exact picture of Agnes and Azara.
Yeah.
Like, I could go for some bread. I could go for a cupcake.
Yeah.
It's like sparkling blue frosting and like, you know, pearls on it and stuff. Yeah, I love it. But like Agnes's bread would be like those beautifully like plaited, like, you know, baked to perfection loaves, I imagine, as well.
I was just thinking of like one of those round sourdough, like just a basic, like hearty,
flour,
no frills bread, you know?
Okay, love it. Nate, John, anything for you?
Marcel, as we go into town, perhaps you can keep your eye out for any villages that you'd like to train. I don't want this to feel like a wasted trip while we do all this political stuff.
I'll see what I come across then.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, you guys, you make your way down into the town. As you kind of begin making your way out of the keep, you can see that the soldiers are basically on patrol. They are just making general sweeps. Waiting at the gate, you can see a tall, athletically built half-orc woman in full plate armor, tabard of the purple dragon, the order of knights, waiting, and she snaps a salute as you all arrive. And this is Elissa, your blade captain, sort of like the current commander of the keep. Greetings, my lords and ladies. Are you heading into town?
Yes.
And she nods, and then she falls into step as if to follow you.
Would you like to join us?
It's not, forgive me, my lady, it's not really a question of would I like to. Yesterday you went off and fought a troll. I am not leaving your side now. I'm very upset that you did that, and I am sticking with you until I know you are safe.
Upset? Why?
My lady, I am a sworn knight of the Purple Dragon. You are my charges, yourself and Baron Crownsilver. I am meant to try and protect you. I saw the state you were in when you got back yesterday. If you had died, I would have failed. I would have failed my oath to my order. I can't. That's very important to me, my lady. I need to make sure both you and the Baron are safe.
Well, perhaps a tighter look should be kept on them then. Doesn't sound like it's something that falls on their shoulders.
Indeed. She kind of looks at Marcel like, I fucking hate this guy. Indeed.
Agnes had looked kind of full of bravado, but as it was explained to her that, like, if you run around and get yourself killed, that actually, like, I am put in danger, then that kind of makes her understand that other people's jobs revolve around her. So she's like, of course, I'm sorry, join us.
Thank you. I will not interfere in any of your affairs. I will keep to myself, but I just want to make sure you're safe. That's all.
We're going to the bakery. Do you want a roll or a cupcake?
I'm fine. Thank you. And she just smiles and nods. She has like her hair tied up in like a big ponytail. Out of character, again, this is a little mechanic. Elissa is your retainer. So she's like a sidekick NPC. She is a character that will come with you. She will fight with you. She can perform tasks for you if you need her to. She's like an NPC follower, basically, like a sidekick character. If we get into a fight and she's part of it, one of you will basically play her and you get to decide what she does. She has very limited stats in that she can only do certain things, but it's like another little character that you can have if you get into a scrap. And yeah, she just kind of nods like, I'll role play her and stuff like that. But when we get into a fight, you feel free to make tactical decisions for her. But yeah, she just falls in line behind you and you guys make your way down. The tone difference in Eveningstar to when you first arrived to now is startling. It is bright. You can hear laughter. You can hear cheering. You can hear the sounds of people beginning to put their lives back together again. People are repairing houses. Children are running around playing. People feel safe. You can see patrols of your knights moving around. These green troops that you've brought with you. They provide everybody with a sense of safety and protection as you make your way down. And as you do, there is gathered crowds of people that kind of cheer and wave. A few kind of locals are like, oh, my lord and lady, so good to see you. Good morning, as you kind of pass by. And, ladies hanging out the washing of her family, and she bows and curtsies deep, like, oh, my lady, so wonderful to see you, my lord. And, lots of accolades and hearty welcomes as you make your way down. Eveningstar is still... Go on.
I think it takes longer than it should to get to the bakery because Agnes stops for anyone and it like shakes their hand and, like encourages them. And she has to be like dragged away from them every time.
Do you stop at everybody? Like, does she ever get sick of it and is just like, no, I'm just going to go? Or is it like, no, I'm going to speak with every single person that speaks to us or like says
she definitely gives time to any person. Like, it's not like she stands there until someone drags her away with everyone, but every single person, she's at least like, oh, yes, wonderful to see you. Thank you so much. Have a great day,
Okay. Yeah. That does delay you, like, because a lot of people want to talk to you as you're making your way down. Just local farmers, people that run orchards, people that hoopers who make barrels and all sorts of things. They just seem to want to introduce themselves, and a million names are thrown at you and all these different faces, but these people are appreciative. There is probably, you are given lots of like small gifts of like little handmade wreaths of like leaves and wood and things like that, a small scarf that's been knitted, all very sort of common little tiny gifts that are given, a pair of gloves that has been sewn in the nighttime and stuff like that. But it's an appreciative atmosphere as you get there. Eveningstar is not a huge village. In the center of the town, there is space for a small market square. There is a well, and then there are a couple of main buildings. One of them is your estate building. It's like a building that you can use when you are in the village. You can have it as like a small place to stay. You can host people there if you want to. There is also a very badly run down inn. It looks like it has taken the brunt of these thugs and bandits. The roof has been burnt through. It's partially collapsed. One of the walls has been like, chipped in and broken down, smashed by something. The door is off its hinges. Dirt's trailed through the thing. It looks like it's empty and abandoned. On the other side of the market square is a delightful little bakery. It's got like trellis fences with, fresh like wild berry patches growing up them. It's got little gardens. The windows are beautiful stained glass. And above it, there is a sign that says the Sweetwater Deli. The tavern has a hanging sign that is dropped off one side. So it's now hanging at an awkward angle and it's called the Lonesome Tankard.
Tarkhal, did you have something? I think I interrupted you when I was greeting people.
No, it's okay. I was gonna say, if Tarkhal saw a group of kids, he would really want to like. He probably couldn't do it. I would probably do it now because you were talking to a bunch of people slowing us down, I guess. He would want to show them a childhood game that his father had taught him while growing up. And he would look for like 10 small twigs and then some really round stones. And he'd teach the kids how to set up a little triangle of these twigs and to step back about 15, 20 feet and to roll the stone to knock them down.
Okay. Yeah.
And just
I
kind of
think you
teach them.
definitely have time. Like while
Okay.
Agnes is like kind of like, gabbing with people and like chatting with people and people on and also this is a country village, like finding a bunch of sticks and some stones is pretty damn quick. And also if you mention to the kids like, hey, go find me 10 sticks and some rocks, they're like they just scatter and they come back and they're all different sizes. One's too big, one guy has come back with like sticks like this big, and it becomes a game for just gathering the things. But yeah, you kind of show them the game. The kids are all like, oh my lord, what's this game called? What's it called, my lord?
Oh God. It's called stoling.
All right,
yes.
stoling. Okay,
Sticks
yeah,
and
because it's a
stones
stone.
bowling, but stoling. It's stoling.
Yeah. And they just like they whatever rules you teach them, when you look back like 20 minutes later, they've made them up, like they've changed all the rules. Like, they're like throwing the rock and everything else. But you can see kind of a couple of old bearded farmers are like looking at the game like, oh, it looks pretty fun.
Yeah, that's the goal. That's the dream, actually. That's perfect.
Yeah, for sure. All right, hang on. I gotta
Eveningstar
make a
became
note.
known for the stoling scene.
Eveningstar will begin the stoling scene in Cormier. That is the goal.
We're gonna have some pro stolers out there.
Tarkhal game. Yep. Okay, put a note there of stoling. That'll come up later in the campaign, I promise you.
Can't wait till the first pro stoling tournament happens.
Yes.
Listen, Mica. I'm gonna create mechanics of how to do stoling skill checks.
Stoling invitational.
We're gonna have a stoling tournament arc. That's gonna be, if this is an anime,
Agnes and
it's
Azara
not a
can
fighting
commentate.
arc. Yeah. Nice. I love it. Marcel's commentary is just nothing the whole time. It's just... Very good.
I love this.
I think as Marcel is, I think out of everybody, whilst everybody's kind of being regarded with these accolades and cheerfulness, I think the only one who maybe like doesn't necessarily draw like sneers or anything like that, but there are whispers of like people looking in Marcel's direction as this masked figure kind of just stalks with the group and is looking around. And the kids like that were chatting to Tarkhal back away from like, Marcel as they see this spooky man as we go. Does that bother Marcel in any way, or is he just like, good, don't want them near me?
Yeah, it doesn't matter to him one way or the other.
Okay, cool. So you just happily make your way through. So after kind of teaching stoling and Agnes has spoken to all the kids, you guys find your way into the center of the town itself, and you can see that the town stretches out. It's all mainly like outlying farms, but there's so much land here that you could really build it up, like with walls and buildings. This could be like one day this could be a city. Like this could easily, there's enough land here that you could develop this further and further and further. What's the plan? You guys tell me. What'd you like to do?
Should we hit up the bakery first? You were craving that roll.
I would like a roll. Let's go to the bakery.
I'll just follow behind if they're taking the lead.
Yeah, Alyssa follows behind, but she waits outside. So when you guys begin making your way inside, Alyssa stands outside and just kind of keeps her hand on her sword and just keeps an eye out, looking around. Inside, as you open the door, it does make a little tingling, like ding, 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 as the door opens. And you see a quite large woman, big curly perm, like huge curly perm, big apron, standing behind. It's all like really pastel pink and blue and white interior. It's painted like hand painted designs that give it this kind of orchard-like appearance with these swirling vines and flowers painted on the walls, and there's fresh flowers everywhere. And you can see a glass cabinet, which has been smashed, but it's been cleared away, but it looks like it was once glass. Houses like all these different little cakes and rolls and sweet treats. An especially large plate of these star-shaped frosted cookies seem to be like the main thing that they sell. Each one is kind of sprinkled with glittering frosting across them. And as you open it, this woman is just like, "Core blimey, if it ain't the Baron, oh my goodness, where's my manners, my lady, my lord?" And she kind of bows her head and she's just like, oh. And she turns around and she starts yelling, "Get in! get down here, getting the Lord and the ladies here. The Lord and the get the fresh ones out the oven. And you see this very scrawny, sandy-haired man. Looks a little bit like Stephen Merchant, if you're familiar with him. Very tall, but very thin beanpole man. Kind of stumbles down. He looks around like, oh, my lady, my lord. Sorry about that, Susan. Yeah, right away. And he goes back into a back room, and you can hear him shuffling around. And they look and they're like, here, so I'm going to lose all my accents. Too many English accents coming around. Like, what can I do for you, my lord and lady? What can I do for you?
Well, the Magister here would love to sample any sweet treats you might have, and I would love your finest roll.
I'm so honored. Of course, my lady, of course. And she's like, she starts genuinely like crying, and she starts like going out and she starts pulling things out. She hands Azara one of these star-shaped cookies. Like, these are our special too. We call them star swirls. It's like our most popular item. It's very good. And then she turns
like a tear on it.
She's like, oh no, I'll get you a fresh one, and she gets a fresh one out. And then she Azara for Agnes, she fetches like a beautiful kind of like sourdough style roll, freshly cut. And she's just like, would you like any margarine or like any butter or anything on there, my lady? Or just plain?
Oh no, just fresh bread. That's all I need.
Of course, the freshest that we have. Oh, well, I should introduce myself. I'm Susan Baker. My husband there is Geddon Baker. We run the Sweetwater Deli here. It's wonderful. I'm so honored. We've heard so much about you already. What do we owe the pleasure? Just stopping by for a snack?
Well, Agnes is like mouthful of bread, and she's like, "You came to inquire." Well, Tarkhal, she motions to Tarkhal.
Above game, what exactly is the problem with the bakery?
That's what we're going to find out, I think.
Yeah, Dusk mentioned that there was some drama. He just said that like, oh yeah, there's like some drama in the town that maybe you could help with, but you didn't really get any details.
Real Housewives of Eveningstar. That's we're here to sort out that drama.
Yes, Susan, it's a pleasure to meet you. It seems Dusk gave us word that there seems to be some issues between the townsfolk and the Sweetwater Deli.
Issues? Oh, we're beloved, my lord. No. Oh, yeah, no, I know what he's fucking talking about. Yeah, sorry, my language. I'm so sorry, my lord. I'm so sorry. Yes, no, Mr. Dusk. I might have mentioned to him that well, I don't want to trouble your noble selves with it. But I will say that there is a family there's a halfling family. They're called the Short Sheafs. They run the largest wheat farm in Eveningstar, and well, they're just refusing to do business with us anymore. I'll be honest with you. They're just refusing to give us their wheat. And that means that, well, we're running low, and I'm not sure if we're going to be able to meet the demand because they're the biggest supplier. And otherwise we've got to order it from Arabelle or from another farm. It's going to take wheat. It's a nightmare, honestly, my lord. It's an absolute nightmare. And that bloody woman out there, she is accusing my son, my boy Aaron, my good sweet boy. She's accusing him of being a thief. And I won't stand for it. I simply won't stand for it. You know, I've told everybody that she's a liar. She's a cow. She's a right old cow. She is. But I'm sorry. I shouldn't say that about him. I shouldn't say that about her, my lord. It is very frustrating. You know, they're saying these horrible things. Her name's Yadri. She's the wife of the Short Sheafs. She's got it in her head that my son stole some sort of necklace of hers or something like that. My Aaron would never do such a thing. Never in his life he wouldn't do it. But she just refuses. She refuses to listen. Won't sell us our wheat.
Well, how old is your son, Aaron?
Oh, Aaron. Oh, he's 17 summers now, I think. 17, 18 summers. Hang on, I'll get him. She's like, Aaron! Screaming up the stairs. And eventually comes down this sandy-haired. He's a bit sort of more rotund like his mother, but he's kind of got the very dopey look of his dad. And he comes down and he kind of grins, and his eyes go wide, especially when he sees Agnis and Azara. He kind of gets that kind of teenage boy sort of like, oh, pretty girls. His eyes go wide. And then he sees Marcel, and it's like, oh, this guy looks really cool, and you can see his eyes kind of pop. And he kind of slides down, and he tries to look cool. He tries to lean on a banister, but he's not sure where to put his arms, and they're all gangly. And he eventually just puts them in his pockets and stands there. Hello. Name's Aaron. My lord, my lady. Nice to meet you. What do you want, Mum? It's the lord and lady there. She's like, yes, Aaron, I know. I was telling him about how that short sheath woman said that you stole her necklace. I didn't steal nothing, Mum. Didn't steal it. I don't know what she's talking about. It's just that she doesn't like me because her daughter fancies me, and she doesn't like me. She doesn't like me because I'm human.
You know, Aaron, our Magister Azara here is quite adept.
Magister, he bows
at magical arts, and she knows the truth when she sees it. So we can clearly clear up this misunderstanding if we all get together and tell the truth.
You can tell when people are lying. And he looks dead at Azara. He's like, you can tell when people are lying.
She just kind of steals her face. Of course.
Is that magic? Is that like a magic thing? Magic's cool.
She'll put on a little bit of the dramatics just because she can see this kid is enamored, and probably for extra measure use a minor illusion to have her hair blow in the wind.
You speak these draconic words and the hair whips back.
Exactly.
Oh my, by Ogmar, oh my god. Oh, by the gods, that's amazing. Oh yeah. Cool. Whatever. Sure, I'll come with you. I'll come with you right now.
Above game, I have a spell to enhance ability to give you an owl's wisdom, Azara, which would give you advantage on wisdom-based checks, which would give you an
advantage on insight and stuff.
So we can play this game of you knowing when people are lying based on just a really high intuition that we can create.
Yeah, I like
and
this.
I assume we've done this before, maybe.
Yeah. I feel like this is a tag team effort here.
Yeah.
Sure. I think as you guys are for a brief moment, Aaron's eyes flick to Marcel, and he just looks and he goes, "Why are you wearing a mask? Have you got a cool scar?"
You're already asking too many questions, kid.
Why? How many questions is too many? I've only asked one.
That's another one.
Wait, that's two. Too many. Oh, right. Okay, yeah. Cool. Is that a real sword? No, that's another question. Sorry.
Well, let's head over there right now. Let's get this cleared up right now. We can't have discord in our town as we're rebuilding Eveningstar to its glorious, compassionate, community-filled splendor.
Susan looks, she's like, "Oh, my lady, if you go over there and give them a stern talking to, oh, I'd be so grateful. If you can prove that my boy's not a thief, I'll be over the moon. I'll be over the moon with it, my lady, I will. I mean, I need to run the bakery. Is it all right if you just take Aaron? I know that he's a good boy, so you just need to go and tell that woman, that halfling woman, that she's full of a sack of sugar. That's what she's full of.
And what if she's not?
Yeah, she will be. She is. It's not my boy hasn't stolen anything. He wouldn't steal anything.
What if he did? What then would you do with him?
I can tell. My lord, I can see. I'm his mum. He can't lie to me. It's simple.
Well, at any rate,
I would.
Our Magister will get to the bottom of this. She's very good at that.
I'm sure. It's all going to be cleared up. I know it is.
I'll kind of take another cookie off the tray real slowly before
she sees you. She's like, "No, yeah, take it." And just
and then I'll take a second one.
And just she's taking more. Agnes is like, "Well, I wasn't going to ask, but if it's okay." She takes another one.
My lords, anything for yourselves? The ladies have taken plenty, but is there anything you would like? Fresh sausage roll, perhaps?
We like our baked goods.
Do I have any gold on my person? Okay.
Yeah, for sure. I think I don't know if you guys put any on your character sheets, but you should have at least sort of 30 gold on you as like a just carrying amount, I imagine.
I only have
Okay.
5. I'm putting 30.
Let me.
He's a noble, though.
Sure.
He's a noble
Oh,
boy.
shit.
I'll add that for sure. Oh, I do. I have 25 right now. Okay.
There you go.
Yes, Susan. I'll try one of your sausage rolls. That sounds delicious.
Oh, it's my speciality. The husband, you know, we get fresh meat. It's very good. It's very good. She goes back and yeah, it's like a small pastry, and it's you know got some sort of you know fresh golden topping sliced into it, and you can see some sort of meat filling. And she's just like, please, my lord, and she offers it to you.
And how much is this the sausage roll?
It's a copper piece, my lord. It's just a copper.
I'm like, we should give her gold for all of it. Just give her a gold piece.
Yeah, I definitely nod to Agnes and I pull out a gold and I give her a gold.
She holds. She's like, thank you, my lord. I mean, that's, you know, whatever you want, just whatever you want, as much as you want, take it. It's fine. It's fine. And she like takes the gold, and like you can see like she runs into the kitchen, and you hear her go, Getting, the lord just gave me a gold coin. Where do I put it? Give it. They take it, and you know, yeah, she takes it.
Marcel, are you sure you don't need any lunch?
I ate 6 hours ago. I'll be fine.
Do you?
The sausage roll is really good, Marcel. You should. I think you should fancy yourself one.
I fancy
my
we're
favorite
wasting time.
True, absolutely true.
Fair enough.
Yeah, Aaron has been watching the whole thing, and he's just is like, yeah, don't eat sausage rolls. Yeah, they're not cool.
Oh my god. This child.
Oh no, Marcel is his role model now.
Oh
But yeah, he's just like, well, I can show you where the short sheafs live. It's just a farm, it's just outside of town. I'll take you there.
Let's go.
Cool. Yeah. And he just sort of like starts swaggering out his hands in his pockets. If you've ever watched like any British TV and you've seen a chav like doing a little bowling walk, like kind of like this, that's how he walks. He's just
Stoling walk, right?
Stoling walk. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, he just kind of like, you know, swaggers his way through the town. You quickly find as you are traveling, Aaron doesn't ever stop talking. He's like, so have you? I heard you killed a troll. Did you kill a troll? What was it like? Was it gross? Was it big? How'd you kill it? Can you do more? Did you kill it with magic?
All the questions toward Marcel, and I'm like, he seems interested. You should recruit him. He'd be a great soldier.
We killed a troll.
Next to each other.
Yes, we killed a troll.
Amazing. Did you kill it with a sword? With that sword? Is it magic? Cool. Yeah. It's probably magic, isn't it? Yeah. It's probably well wicked magic. Probably can cut through stone or something. Yeah. Well, cool. I heard. I like stories, me. So I go around and I listen to all the stories, and like they tell us all about these adventurers going around Cormier and stuff. And one of them had a sword and it could cut through stone. It's probably like that one. Yeah. Wicked. Just like and it never stops. Like for like 20-30 minutes it's just this as he goes, but eventually
if Tarkhal is in front of Aaron, he's actively smiling the whole time. Like he genuinely loves how passionate he is. It's amazing.
Meanwhile, and Azara is laughing because she sees how tortured Marcel is. And this is just hilarious to her.
Yeah, and he, you know, he's very genuine. I think as Tarkhal, like you're listening to this kid, and he knows a lot. Like as you're walking, like kind of in the same way that Dusk seems to know that everything's going on in the town. This kid, he knows more of like the gossip. So he's like, oh yeah. I heard that the Thorn Hand, right? Yeah, you know the bandit guy, the guy that came around and killed. I heard a rumor, right? He's the half brother of the old lord who used to run this place, and he was kicked out when he was a kid because he's like violent and like a killer, right? And so they kicked him out. And then when he heard about the old lord fleeing, that's when he came back and he was like, oh, I'm gonna have it, right? I'm gonna make it mine. I'm gonna lay my claim, And that's what I heard. Yeah, couple of people talking about some of the old geezers. They remember, right? Because they were there. So yeah. That's what I reckon. I reckon it was that. Yeah, cool.
I love
wicked.
Aaron.
He's great.
But yeah, eventually you come to a small, almost like a hobbit house farm that's like dug into a semi-hill, and just these beautiful golden fields of wheat stretch out for huge distance. Like, and you can see that there's like grain silos, there's a couple of old ponies that are being used to like help till new farms. Very, very affluent looking farm. Doesn't seem to be that badly damaged from the thugs and bandits. And yeah, Aaron just kind of points. He's like, yeah, that's the Short Sheaf's farm. Yeah, Yadri and what's his name? I can't remember his name. But Yadri, she's the one in charge. It's yeah, she runs it all.
And the daughter who you said fancies you. What's her name?
Her name, Eri. Eri's her name. Eri
We
Short
should probably
Sheaf. She's
speak
pretty
to Eri
cute
as well.
But she's a halfling and I'm big, so it's kind of weird. It's like having your little sister. It's on your lap. It's weird, It's
why
she's little and I'm big, so it's, I don't know. She fancies me, but I'm not into it. It's weird.
It's only going to be as weird as you want it to be.
It's just, she's grown up. She's like my age, but it's just she looks so small, and it's like all of her clothes, they're like small clothes. It's weird.
That seems like a very closed-minded way to pick a mate.
Sounds like an insecurity.
Hey, what? Wait, insecure about? I haven't got any doors unlocked. What are you talking about?
I'm going to go up and knock on the door.
Yeah, so Marcel knocks on the door, and you hear kind of coming from inside. You hear one moment, please. And you hear like a little shuffling of feet, and then the door opens, and stood there with big sort of golden curls of hair, like the color of wheat and honey, dressed in like a little paisley dress, is an older looking halfling woman, and she looks up with these big bright eyes, and she's like, "Oh, well, a mysterious masked man at my door. Hasn't happened in a few years, I suppose. Can I help you, sir?"
Few years. Whatever. You have issue with this boy, correct?
She kind of looks behind you. What boy? Oh, Baker, what are you doing here? I've told you you're not allowed to come round here again. I don't want you seeing Eri. And he's just like, it's not me. It's the Baron and Baroness, right? I'm with them. They've brought me here, so I'm allowed because they own all this. And she kind of looks behind and she's like, Baron and Baroness Crownsilver. I'm sorry. Yes, my apologies. And she curtsies like, I hadn't been fully acquainted with you yet. Why have you brought this boy? He's a thief, You should have him arrested. You should have him locked up. Thief, little dirty thief like him.
We certainly care about the well-being and sense of community in Eveningstar, and that's why when we heard that there was quarrel between you, the wheat farmers, and the bakers themselves, we set about trying to set it right. And so we thought, with our magister here, who knows truth when she sees it, we could have a conversation where she could determine what the truth of the matter was and set the whole thing to rest.
Oh, well, yes, that sounds very good. Obviously, you're going to find out that this boy stole my sister's necklace, and then you can dispense justice as a good lord and lady should. Yes, good, fine, absolutely. And she just sort of like looks towards Azara, as in like, good, excellent. Let's get this over with.
We should invite Eri to join us.
Oh, yeah. Is that necessary? She's not really involved in this. I don't really want her seeing this boy.
As the magister here who will be conducting the truth finding, I think that all parties involved being present is absolutely necessary.
And you can see she kind of like, very well, Magister, very well. Just a moment. Would you care to come inside, a drink or anything, perhaps?
Certainly, we'll come inside. No need to provide anything. We're quite well.
All right.
She
very
was
well,
about to
very
say
well.
we've had delicious baked goods, but then she remembered how much this person hates the bakers and was like, we're fine.
We're fine. Yeah, she leads you inside. You obviously it's a halfling house, so most of you very tall elves have to sort of duck in and kind of make your way through like Gandalf in Hobbiton in Bag End. But you eventually make your way, and there's a table. It's a very affluent looking house. It actually looks quite well looked after. Like they have some money. And eventually, Yadri reappears with Erin. She is a halfling girl, so she must be about 17, 18 by halfling standards, but very small, has the same golden hair as her mother, but this time it's tied up into a high ponytail. And when she sees Aaron, those of you who have been in love, I don't know if any of your characters have been in love, but you can see that kind of like teenage fluttering of hearts and eyes as she looks up at this boy. And she's like, "Oh, hello, Aaron. It's good to see you." And he's like, "Oh yeah, you're right, Aaron. Yeah, good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah, yeah. I'm just gonna prove your mum wrong that I'm not a thief." And she's just like, "Yeah, that's the Baron and Baroness." And she curtsies deep. She's like, "Oh, it's so wonderful to meet you all. Why are you here?"
In the meantime, as she was going to get Ari real quick before we all reconvened, Agnes's like kind of headpiece has feathers on it, which she has now gathered from the Tressum flocks. She'll like if one drops, she'll pick them up. So she has like a Tressum feather headpiece.
Sure.
And so she plucks one of those and uses that as the spell component to cast enhance ability on Azara.
Sure.
And she says, "The owl's wisdom is upon you," and drops the feather, and it just kind of flops onto Azara.
Love it.
Azara just
Love
kind
it.
of like blinking gif at that.
And you do feel your kind of like awareness of the world and everything expand as this spell takes place. And yeah, you everybody is assembled. Yadri's like, "Well, Magister, I would very much like to get to the bottom of this, and for you to prove that this young man stole my precious sister's necklace."
All right, everybody. And she kind of like flips her hair back and she goes, "Hands," and she reaches towards the two kids to try and take their hands. She's really doing it up, really making this dramatic.
Aaron has to like reach up quite high, but Aaron is like, yeah, Aaron takes your hand in a kind of
and
teenager
Agnes reminds
way.
them both very sternly, and she's like, "From now on, if you tell one lie, she will know, and you will regret it."
Okay.
Can I do an intimidation check?
Intimidation or deception is this going to be? You can choose. Yeah, if you want to do intimidation, do intimidation.
The modifier is the same for either one.
Ah, there you go. It doesn't matter. Straight.
10.
10? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to roll for these guys because they're kind of country bumpkins. Certainly Aaron believes it. You're not sure if Yadri and Erin 100% do, but Aaron certainly believes it. He's just like, "Oh, yeah, all right, yeah. Magic, man. So cool."
I'm going to individually cast friends on both of them, just for a little added boost, just in case.
Okay.
Which is just, it says I have advantage on all charisma checks, but they're also, it influences their mood, so hopefully they feel a little more chill around me.
I will point out that the cantrip friend says when the spell ends, the creature realizes that you use magic to influence its mood and becomes hostile.
They do know that I was
you.
going to use magic.
Yeah, they know that.
They know that. Yeah, they know. And then I'll also use minor illusion to make the hair blow again, and I'll say the magic. It flows through me. Can you feel it flowing through you?
Okay.
Just kind of really doing it up here.
Sell the whole thing for sure.
Yeah, sell the whole thing.
And then do you turn to like Aaron and ask a question or something, or is that how it goes?
I'm going to turn to him and say, "Did you in fact steal this woman's sister's necklace?"
Okay. Give me a deception check with advantage because of the friends, and then we'll have you make an insight check when he replies.
19 plus 3 is 21.
Nice.
22.
Thank you for advantage.
So he looks at you, absolutely believing that you have created a spell that means that you will know if he's lying.
Mm-hmm.
And you see him kind of like he sweats for a moment as he kind of blinks, and he's like, No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I was sneaking around because I was sneaking around the house because I was trying to see Erin, and we were going to go up to the pond sneak her out the window. And he kind of looks at Yadri, and you can see Yadri is steaming when she hears that. But he's like, but I didn't steal nothing. I wouldn't steal anything. Mr. Dusk told me not to steal from like people around the village. And, you know, he might have taught me how to like, you know, take something like that. But I wouldn't ever do it from anybody from Eveningstar. This is my family. Everyone here's like, we know each other. I wouldn't steal from anyone from Eveningstar. And then make an insight check with advantage.
All right. Nat 20. Woo!
Yeah. So this kid, first of all, he believes your thing. You don't have any reason to believe that he's lying. Like his body language, it seems incredibly honest. The fact that he admitted that he's like learned to pickpocket and, you know, he came to, you know, sneak this girl out and stuff like that gives you the impression that, yeah, he's absolutely telling the truth.
What is the girl's vibe right now? Like, is she nervous? She's
just seemingly completely believing it. And you can see the halfling woman Yadri is kind of like folding her arms and huffing and puffing. And then I think just before we wrap up the episode today, you hear a clattering from a bedroom, like an adjacent room, and you hear like something smashing and breaking and being knocked over. And then Agnis and Marcel, with your super good perception, you hear the flapping of wings and a furry creature with what appears to be like a kind of like silver piece of cloth in its mouth flying past the window. It's this big, gray, matted, angry-looking Tressim, and it just flies away. And you can see Yadri's turning around like, that blasted thing is back again, causing trouble. And that is where we're going to end today's episode, I think.
Little thief!
That's
Tressim.
the Tressim we're going to adopt. That's the one.
Tressim!
Oh my God.
Big,
we'll
angry Tomcat. Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
We'll name it Small Dave.
Small Dave!
Sure. Well, let's see. Maybe next week, that will be next week's first part of next week's episode is you tracking down this Tressim.
Trying to get the
catching
necklace
Tressim.
back. Oh my God.
Sure. Yeah. Perfect. Well, guys, thank you so much. We should do shout outs. And well, first of all, did you guys enjoy that? Was that a fun game?
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Any standouts?
When you told us that we were going to have more of an RP focused episode, I was like, but we've had such fun in combat. Like, are we going to have enough to RP? But after this, I'm like, I know the characters so much better now. And like the getting to start like setting up our town and knowing about the happiness mechanic. I'm so into it.
Nice. Cool. I really loved Tarkhal and Agnes's bit of clash. Like up until now, it's been like Tarkhal just being like, Agnis, what do you think? Agnis, we should do that. And then this time we got to see a little bit of a kind of like two divergent points meeting. And it's going to be interesting where like Azara and Marcel fall on like the allegiance scale of like who they kind of side with and stuff as well. It's really cool.
It was fun. I like
this
RP.
was super fun. This was
Yeah.
I definitely I also was like, I love combat in D&D. But everything tonight was like so good. Like all the RP was just so good.
I like getting
It's nice
to
have, like, a
know
breakup.
everybody better.
Yeah.
And myself better.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And hopefully we'll get old Marcel. Start cracking that clamshell open, just like open up your bastard.
One day.
I feel like even the stuff he didn't respond to in the RP this time was more revealing. And the fact he keeps surprising Agnis specifically because Agnis will be like, here's my like revolutionary for the people opinion and no one will get on my side because everyone's corrupt nobles. And then Marcel will be like, yeah, I agree. And she'll be like,
Yep.
yeah.
That's what I mean. I love the juxtaposition that we're going to get between those two for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm especially looking forward to the day that Azara casts Detect Magic near Marcel.
Oh God, I know. One of these days it'll happen.
Secrets. Anyway,
One of these
let's
days.
do some.
Can someone make that a gift, please?
Secrets. That can go up there with my consequences gif that was from High Rollers, which I think is probably the one that most people know me for.
It's a good gift.
Let's do some shout outs. Who wants to start?
I vote for. Okay, go ahead.
I'm gonna pick Shady this week.
Hi guys, I'm ShadyPenguinn and I'm starting out the shout outs. I would like to shout out everyone's gorgeous hair today because everyone is just looking. I can say that and you guys can't, so I could say it. And when I say you guys, I mean everyone not in this call. And I also, I started playing Duel Links again, which is a lot of fun. So if you want to see that, you can go to youtube.com/ShadyPenguinn. Other than that, follow me on Instagram. I will be filling you guys in on how my stock adventures are going. I'm going to be in the market getting some proof of concept for some money-making schemes. And I'm going to pop on over to, you know what? I'm going to pop over to the DM before. Can we do that?
No,
We're
I've
breaking
gotta
the
go
rules.
last. That's
Can
breaking
I
all
just
the
crack
rules.
them?
Breaking the
Breaking the law.
rules.
Breaking the
No,
law.
we'll do it. Breaking the law. Hey, thanks for watching the game today. I am the Dungeon Master, and if you'd like to see me do more Dungeon Mastering, the best thing you can do is come check out my show. It's called High Rollers D&D. You can find us on Twitter, on Twitch, all YouTube, all under the same name, High Rollers DND. We stream on Sundays, which is a homebrew sci-fi fantasy, Final Fantasy-esque game. And then we also do Curse of Strahd on Thursdays, but Curse of Strahd with some twists to it, some big Castlevania type twists to it. You can go and check that out. That is like the big thing I do. Otherwise, just follow me on Twitter. I generally post a lot about stuff. I am working on some bigger projects. I'm hoping that September, by the end of September, I'll be launching a nice new big project and some cool announcements. So follow me on Twitter for more info on that. I am going to throw it to Anna.
I do 2 other role-playing shows right now that you could tune into for something different if you want to watch more role-play. On Thursdays, I do Echoes of Eternity, which is a Star Wars-based role-playing game where I play a Jedi named Oda. And starting on September 12th, September 12th, I'll be starting Pawns and Patrons, which is going to be a once-a-month campaign designed to be easy to jump in and out of, so that if you fall behind or you want to watch live, even though you didn't catch the last episode, it's easy to do. So it'll be once a month episodes that are 4 hours long, and it'll be a really interesting. We're playing something where we have a domain character as well as lots of other adventuring characters that report to that domain character each.
Cool.
So it'll be a really interesting new kind of mechanic that we're doing. And anything else, incidental streams and all of that will show up on my social media. So you can check that out at Anna Prosser. And I tag Mica.
Hello. I will be actually guesting on another RPG role-playing D&D game this Friday. I'm going to be on Failed Save, which is going to be twitch.tv/Pixel Circus. I just got that information today, so that's going to be fun. I'm going to be guesting along with my friend Anthony Carboni and a few other cool people. And everything else is going to be on my Twitter at Mica Burton, or follow my dog's Instagram at Rainy's Wild Shape, because she's cute and I love her, and I post a lot of pictures of her because she's really cute. Okay, Nate, it's your turn.
Hi, I'm Nathan Sharp, aka NateWantsToBattle. I have been really into Avatar and Korra lately. I know I'm a bit late on that, but it just came to Netflix, so it's understandable. And aside from that, have a good day.
Have a good day. Have a lovely day.
Oh, before we go, sorry, I totally just remembered. The episode of Critter Hug just ended, so the VOD will be up soon. And I just really want to encourage people to go check that out and support all of the really cool Black content creators that we highlighted in this episode of Critter Hug. We have some stores that you could buy from, like Cantrip Candles, make everything smell good. Some charities that you guys can donate to, keep the conversation going. Everything good. Yeah, go do that.
Definitely check that out.
Yeah.
Thank you, players. Thank you, everybody at home watching. We'll be back hopefully next week. Till then, take care, look after yourselves. See you for more D&D soon. Bye.